So I'm really, really, really pleased today to be with Hannah Chappatte of Hybr. How are you, Hannah?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. So I'm doing all good. It's well into conference season at the moment, but I'm still making
Yeah,
it through. So, see, I think you've been at one today as well, haven't you? Which is great.
I sure have. Been at NRLA in Birmingham, which is a big
Lovely,
success.
lovely, great, great stuff. Look, so Hannah, could you give us a bit of an overview? Obviously, very exciting, and congratulations, obviously, launching the company. Hyber is going to be launching next week, isn't it? And is it fair to say you're kind of specialists in the whole student housing space?
Um, Definitely that is our kind of key focus area. And we are very excited as we are launching a brand new Hybr marketplace,
Yep.
a brand new tenant dashboard where students can track their inquiries, track their viewings and offers all in one place. And most excitingly, the Hybr's very own lettings management software.
Nice.
And I can give you a bit more context on that if that would be useful.
I tell you, it would be really useful. Yeah. So I think, I mean, obviously, what first thing do you know to understand how, because obviously you're also looking for some forward-thinking lettings agents to partner with as well, aren't you? So
Yeah,
I suppose the classic one, what's the problem you're solving and how you're going to be able to help people out would be really useful context.
definitely. So over the last really kind of 4.5 years, we realized that working with a lot of different kind of student operators and residential agents, that they were really struggling with three key issues.
Yep.
Firstly, they were trying to juggle lots of different marketing channels. So when you're trying to market your portfolio, you're going to go on Rightmove, maybe Zoopla on the market, maybe Spare Room, Open Rent, combination for students, rents, and you're just drowning in mostly unqualified inquiries across lots of different marketing channels. And it's basically setting up agents to fail. It's impossible to get back to every single tenant. Phones ringing off the hook, inboxes are full of back and forth questions from tenants. So the second key problem there is this kind of tsunami of unvetted leads, and your team is spending around 200 hours per tenant trying to manually vet them over the phone, trying to book them into viewings, dealing with no shows, and it's a hugely inefficient process. And lastly, because of this very low conversion rate that agents experience between an inquiry into a booker, and as we all know, renters look to rent all at the same time. And it's
Mm.
about how quickly can you convert that engaged inquiry, that engaged prospective tenant into a booker.
Yep.
So if you're unable to capture that demand, then you can be left in an awkward position of voids. And I think we all kind of felt that over the last few months, this year in particular. So because of those kind of three key issues, that's why we've brought to market. That's why we've built this lettings management software that consolidates agents, marketing channels all in one place, automatically vets tenants against their kind of preset vetting criteria that's entirely customizable per landlord, automatically book viewings via a smart viewing tool that schedules back-to-back viewings for team efficiency. And it's about how quickly can you convert a prospective kind of inquiry into a booker, so you manage that whole funnel in one place.
And that speed of response thing's absolutely critical, isn't it? Because, I know myself, if I don't get, if I'm inquiring about something and I don't get, a fast engagement, by the time that the company deems fit to deal with me, I might be in a completely different space or moved on to another option or something else there. And it just that time and engagement point, just if you can't get them straight away, it's obviously famously much more difficult to convert people, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, you want mass, as an agent, you want mass marketing exposure so that your portfolio is being seen in as many places as possible. But it's a market that prioritizes speed on both sides. It's the speed in which you can get back the tenant, book them into view, and confirm that offer. And as a team, you're always looking at what is the high value tasks and the low value tasks.
Yeah.
And, people shouldn't be spending their time manually chasing tenants on the phone and dealing with these kind of back and to forth, back to back questions. Instead, teams should be repurposed to spend time on property management, on customer experience and new business opportunities, and automate those kind of manual day-to-day tasks within that lettings funnel, from listing, marketing, vetting, viewing to offer.
I was at the EA Masters conference yesterday, as we were just talking about. And one of the
Mm,
biggest things they were highlighting that agents are looking for, and they were talking about on stage, some of them were saying, we're really, really keen to engage and explore as much automation as we possibly can do to get those
yeah.
efficiencies in. And this fits very much in that spot, doesn't it? I think agents are very frustrated at the moment that they know technology is quite, is ubiquitous out there, and it seems to be in the wider world with helping with these.
Mm,
But it doesn't seem to have bled in until obviously Hybr's come along and people like that to really
yeah.
deliver those efficiency savings that you everybody obviously wants.
Definitely. And it's about prop tech solutions working together. There's so many brilliant property management solutions out there, like Repit, Coho, Alto, Concurrent. And
Yeah,
so we integrate with all of those property management systems. So we can pull your live feed or live listings onto Hybr, give you access to any new marketing channels where you don't currently advertise. We can plug in your kind of core website channels and any of your other marketing channels. So all inquiries are being managed in one place.
yeah,
And then at the end of that offer journey, we can then auto-populate back into your property management system. So it feels like one really connected,
that's great.
smooth, streamlined journey for both your internal team and the prospective tenants. And the same whether you use Good Lord for referencing or vouch, etc. We can then kind of integrate with those platforms to create a really smooth journey, as it's all about how are we going to use our time, how can we be as efficient as possible, and really use technology to ensure that humans are only spending time on those high value tasks.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that's really good that you've kind of looked at that whole kind of ecosystem
Mm,
prop tech as well and realize, that actually, you don't, it doesn't have to be one system to kind of rule the
yeah,
waters there, but it does need to kind of work together to stop it being. My most repeated line is people talk about, a tech stack, a prop tech stack.
yeah,
Actually, it feels to the agencies a bit more like a Jenga pile, kind of solution
yeah,
cobbled together. And so I think that's a really important thing. You've identified so many of what many agents will be using out there, and to fit into that as a, again, to use that phrase, the ecosystem is a really positive
yeah.
point.
And because it has to be customizable, where every agent that we sit down with has its own secret sauce, operates in its own way. And that's why, whether you have a certain process in place for viewings or application forms that offer, it's all about adapting and molding our dashboard, our solution to what your team needs, and then plugging in your favorite third-party software, whether that is a referencing contract,
Yep.
property management system. And that's what we're really here to do.
That's great. And just to give us a bit about the background as well. So it's always interesting kind of getting getting what inspired you to do it. I
Yeah.
assume this was, if I remember right, when we caught up, this was, you were a student yourself, and as you set up Hybr after having left university. So are these all challenges and things you just, the frustrations are things you experience yourself?
Definitely. So I was a student at University of Bristol. I graduated in 2019. And as soon as I graduated, I started working on Hybr because I realized that there were 3 million students that study in the UK every year and go through the same ordeal of actually just hating renting and not knowing who they can trust, not knowing where they can go, not understanding some of that basic kind of rental jargon around deposits and tenancy agreements, and
Yeah.
feeling really overwhelmed. But over the last 3 years, we realized that we were we weren't going to be able to kind of transform, revolutionize the student rental journey without actually empowering and building a solution for agents, because agents at the end of the day are the ones that really control that tenant experience.
Yeah.
And so we thought the best way for us to have impact on the young renters was by building a solution that empowered agents to be able to deliver a better tenant experience. So that's really how we approach it.
That's really useful to understand. And did you say you're launching in, where are you launching in Manchester and Bristol, is it, to start off with?
Yes, but we're actually already opening up across the UK. So any kind of student operators, agents out there that want to discuss their kind of marketing strategy and letting strategy, please come and chat.
Great stuff. And just so people know, obviously they can get in contact with me direct, or are we okay to give out your email? Is that okay in terms of,
Yes, that would be perfect.
It's just Hannah at Hybr.co.uk. Hybr spelled Hybr, just for those people out there. So if you are, if this is a sound of interest to you, drop Hannah a line, and I'm sure she'll be able to give you some more information. And I think, given a bit more context, what's quite interesting is, although obviously it's again that really exciting stage of you launching and everything else, but you've actually been quite busy in the background, haven't you? Because you're partnering with some of the major universities and indeed society,
Mm.
people like that. So can you just give us an overview of how you've been working with kind of the stakeholders, I suppose they would say?
Definitely. So we still have a very strong B2C proposition. So that is Hybr's marketplace. And so we are a recommended accommodation resource for most large universities across
Right.
the UK. And that's because we work very closely with their pastoral care teams to ensure that students can find housing outside of halls of residence, or for those smaller universities, we will offer them a halls of residence alternative because they might not have their own university accommodation.
Yeah.
So we work very closely with universities. We also have a matchmaking service for societies. So societies can find their housing for their members.
Yeah.
We have ambassador teams on the ground on campus where students refer their friends and kind of champion the Hybr story. And we do a lot to kind of build out content, educational content, to help upskill renters and support them, hold their hands throughout that process. So we really kind of have that strong student focused brand, and then that kind of translates into young graduates, young professionals as well. So that's always a really important part of how we grow Hybr, as well as integrating with Rightmove, Zoopla on the market, and many other kind of 15 kind of plus other marketing channels.
That's great. And so you've got yeah, you've obviously you're at the center. I mean, it's like you're not so much almost a supplier to there. You're actually a partner with them, aren't you? You're actually putting yourself front and center of working with them, which I can imagine would be very popular with all parties as well on that side. And you just touched on the
Definitely.
market side of things. Give us just a bit of context around that in the way that you're able to help help out on that side of things.
So for we have an integration, an API integration in place with Rightmove, Zoopla, and on the market to give any landlords easy access to those channels, and agents can either plug in their own channel, and then the vetting will be powered by Hybr, so all inquiries are managed within one dashboard,
Yep.
or can use us if they're not able to access those channels, can use us to access those core marketing channels. And if anyone has any marketing channels that they'd like us to integrate with, it's very easy for us to set up any new channels. We're adding 5 new marketing channels every month. That's what we're targeting ourselves on, to have
Brilliant.
that mass marketing exposure.
And I'm just talking about that exposure. It's been picked up. Clearly, it's caught people's attention because I think you've been covered in the Times, BBC, and even Forbes magazine, I believe, have seen what you're trying to do, and have been very interested on that side of things.
Definitely, I think that comes from that, supporting student piece and really having the best interest of those tenants at heart. And that's really how we approach even that agent solution, making sure that we're setting them up to succeed and creating a win-win. We want to match the right qualified tenants, the right kind of housing based on what are the tenants looking for and what are the landlords referencing criteria to create a win-win and set that tenancy off on the right footing. That's a really important part of what we do. And there's a digital transformation coming, and it's quickly catching real estate is having to quickly catch up. And this is the moment where a lot of agents are looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking, how can we actually adopt technology, reviewing their tech stack if they even have one,
Yeah.
either moving themselves off spreadsheets, or looking at their tech stack and thinking, okay, what systems are we using? What other systems can we integrate to create a better place to work? A lot of it is about your own internal teams. Like, how can you be more productive? How can you have a happier workforce?
Yeah.
But also, most importantly, how can you be delivering a really good tenant experience, which then makes sure that you're retaining your landlord base? And that's actually one thing I forgot to mention. A lot of agents are starting to see us as a sales tool because the data that we can give you across your funnel. So how many marketing channels are you marketing on? What is your conversion rate from clicks to inquiries to vetted inquiries to viewings to offer? What is the rejection reasons? Why do tenants reject your portfolio? Why do they drop out? All of that data is yours that we then can give you, so you can easily white label that data, provide it proactively to all of your large clients or investors to show them how proactive that you're being, and constantly driving actionable insights from that data to drive occupancy.
And you gave us a brief overview when we caught up previously, and it was so nice, so slick. The UI is really, really simple there because, of course, look, lettings is frenetic at the best of times, but from the student
Yeah.
point of view, because it's condensed into that thing, as you said, that problem with people being drowned with calls, drowned with inquiries there, it's why Hybr's so needed, isn't it, in that space?
Definitely. We were speaking about this at the NRLA conference today, because especially in real estate, you're often pitching and building technology for people that are not as tech savvy. It's on the product to be as intuitive as possible. You don't need training weeks. You don't need, several demos. You should be able to instinctively work out how to use this, our lettings management software that can then plug into your property management software. It's easy to use, and it has to be for both the agent and the tenant.
Perfect. Well, look, it's very exciting. Thank you. I feel like I've got a good overview of it now, and as I said, I encourage anybody to have a chat with you, obviously at launch time and everything else, and drop your line over. It'd be really, really good to get a sort of an update from you in the weeks ahead as well, just to see how it's progressing and everything else there. Obviously, keep us up to date with the agents that are coming on board, and I think even understanding what the students like about the service. I think that's ultimately, if you're able to impress those enough, it's going to help both you and the lettings agents that you're going to be partnering with.
Definitely. We really hold ourselves to account on the reviews that we're getting from the tenants, and then the conversion metrics from agents. How quickly are they converting prospective tenants into bookers? How quickly are they tracking against that occupancy target? So yeah, we'd love to share that data in the next few weeks.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, congratulations, and we'll catch up soon then.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for today,
Thanks so
Hannah.
much.
Very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.